Elden Ring's Night Reign just got announced at the Game Awards, and I'm very surprised it didn't get leaked at all, but I'll be talking about everything we know about Night Reign in this video. And what's cool about this is it takes Elden Ring and changes some of the mechanics, doing something that From Software has never done before. This is somewhat akin to Fortnite, so we'll be dropping into a modified version of Limgrave, and you have 3 days to survive, and we're going against a boss at the end of the night. There's going to be a ring that pushes us in towards a specific boss fight, but our goal is to go around gathering weapons and runes to be able to level up our character, which does work differently as we select characters that'll have predetermined stats as we level them up. So this is really cool, and I just want to break down a bit of the trailer because there's some things that I don't see other people talking about. Like we can see right here, this is at the very start. I haven't seen anyone talking about these giant cloud looking people yet. This is something that I think could potentially have something to do with the game itself, but just for a brief moment there, you can see them. Now, there's a lot of little things in this trailer that people haven't been talking about. Now, it's said that the game is going to be in Limgrave, so you can see there, that's the burning fire, so it's the ring that's pushing us in, and then there'll be an acid rain that damages you over time if you stay outside of that ring, so you obviously want to be on the inside of the ring. So one thing that's cool about this is the movement got enhanced in this, and there again we see these giant cloud giants there, so I'm not sure what role they'll have in this, but it's very curious to see. Now there's a few other things about this trailer here. You can see again movement speeds very quickly. There's the hawk that we'll be using to jump into the fight with, so you go ahead, you grab into it and drop like it's a Fortnite game. But this is really cool. You can see that there's still some Everjails here, so there is still that element to Elden Ring. And you can see some different encampments here. So there's like potentially enemies to fight and loot together there as well. There's a bunch of different areas here. Still looks like Limgrave with the stuff falling from the sky. Now, one thing that I thought was interesting is you can see here, this is actually very clearly Caelid. We got the red water there, and we have those weird fungus things that are all over Caelid. So they were saying that this game is strictly in Limgrave, but from this trailer alone, it doesn't look like we're sticking directly to Limgrave. So that is quite interesting. I'm not too sure what this really means, but maybe this is just for the trailer, but it looks like to me that we'll be doing more than just roaming around Limgrave here. But there's a centipede boss, one of the bosses that's been announced, and there was a pretty crazy reveal. Whenever I saw this, I literally had my jaw drop to the floor. So there's some cool fights here you can see. This is a eagle attack. You can dive around. But there's one big fight that I think a lot of people were very shocked to see with the Nameless King, who will be appearing in the trailer here. This is also another big one with just Dark Souls 3, the Firekeeper, which is the character that levels your character up. So it's interesting to see them return. But then we also had ourselves the Nameless King, and there's so much going on in this trailer. So this looks like it's a different hero. There's going to be 8 different heroes that come with their own benefits. Some of them are rangers focused on archery. One will be able to create a stone pillar that you can climb up and shoot it from above. I'm hoping that they refine their arrow mechanics. I also think it's interesting you can hop up on your Raven and fly around here. So we're seeing increased amounts of mobility with the ability to climb up the walls like that. Elden Ring, you didn't move like that. It was more clunky. So it's nice to see some things transfer over from Sekiro. Now, another thing that's interesting is the run speed's actually faster than Torrent's run speed. So even just at base, you're going to move around very quickly. And there is the Nameless King himself, which is wild to see. I could never have guessed that they would have went this route. We also got ourselves, as you can see there, somewhat of the Sekiro style deflecting hard tier attacks from the DLC Shadow of the Erdtree. Also, this kind of looks like Lady Maria from Bloodborne. Not too sure, but could be one of the characters that you can choose. I think this is interesting. I've seen someone talking about this online, and I thought it also looked kind of similar to them. So who knows what might happen with that. Now you can see here, it doesn't look exactly like her, but I don't know. There's a lot of wild things in this trailer, so it could potentially be Lady Maria. I'm not sure. I'm not sure also the Bloodborne intellectual property, who it owns to. It's kind of up in the air. I don't think that they'll include Bloodborne, but we've seen lots of Dark Souls stuff in this, which is really cool, and Sekiro style movement speed. Now this boss here, this was actually meant to be a boss in Bloodborne, and it was a scrap boss. It's a kind of like a hyena wolf hybrid here. It can split into 3 separate wolves and then combine back together. And you might have seen this part from the fight. It looks really cool, but I'm anticipating that we'll see some more boss fights as we get closer to the reveal, but this also looks very similar to Radahn's Battlefield, and that's also in Caelid, so I'm not too sure if we'll be sticking just to Limgrave here, but you can see it's got the 3 wolves split apart there, and they're back together. So there's also this door here, which is interesting. I'm not too sure what is going to happen with that and how the lore relates to this. I am extremely excited though for NIGHTREIGN, and I think that we're going to see some really great things. So what we know for boss fights, we already got a few boss fights listed, so it's randomized. Everything about this is random. So you start off in Limgrave, you're shuffling around to grab yourself some items. Every in-game day lasts around 15 minutes. So you got yourself the hustle on. You got to run and grab items as quickly as possible. So then once you reach the end of the day, you'll fight a random boss. So there's things like the demi-queens, demi-human queens. There's also the I think that there's going to be some different things like the centipede demons and many others from other Souls games. It seems like they're going to be reusing assets, which I have no problem with, because hey, to get something like this, that's really nice. And the bosses are just completely randomized, so maybe you'll fight a draconic tree sentinel. It's hard to say. It's that kind of level of detail I think is really nice. It keeps runs fresh, so you go through and play something new every single time. So each hero has their own unique abilities. So there's a hook shot one, and these operate on a cooldown, which is a little bit different from how normal spells work in Elden Ring. So there's a guardian that has a tornado attack. There's also another attack that'll repeat your previous attack, which will create double the damage, which I think is pretty interesting. And they all come with ultimate attacks as well, so that is an interesting ability that comes with that too. So it looks like the combat itself is very fast-paced and different than the combat that we got in base game Elden Ring. So very fluid. You're a lot more mobile, it seems like, so that's really cool too. You see there, a big tornado attack. You can fly up in the air. There's a lot of really fun things with this. So it's all about teamwork. You can play this game, however, just single player if you wanted to. So if you just wanted to run through this game by yourself, you do have the ability to do that, which I think is nice because not everyone likes to play multiplayer games. I'm assuming it'll be a little bit more challenging with just one player. Maybe they'll give you a bit of a buff if you play single player. It's hard to say at this point, but yeah, from what it looks like, this game is going to be incredible. So I'm very excited to see more about this and learn what's going to come from Software next, because they are working on another game while they have this one coming out. So it looks fresh. Like, I think that this is going to be an absolute blast of a game. And again, total shock. I did not expect we get anything like this, but you can see there, like, the bow attacks look cool. We got ourselves a lot of flashy new weapons. I'm anticipating some reused assets here, as it just seems like that's going to be what what they have to do to get this game out, as it seems like it will be coming out sometime around 2020, like early to mid 2025. So potentially, like, I wouldn't say April, but that could be probably the earliest we could see it. I'm going to guess somewhere in the summertime, like June-ish. But it's really hard to say. We'll know more hopefully soon about Elden Ring NIGHTREIGN. I'm really excited to play this, and I hope you are too. So let me know what you're most excited for in Elden Ring NIGHTREIGN. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already, and I'll see you all in the next video.